It was not simply wonderful before it became awful, it was incredible. It was everything I'd ever desired, everything I'd ever longed for, and so many more things I'd never even considered asking for. It was love, pure, unadulterated, earth-shaking love that changed you and your perspective on the world. I was so consumed with love that I failed to notice that behind the face of this broken-winged bird, whom I desperately wanted to save, lurked a vulture hungry for my soul and vitality. The worst was yet to come, the realization that this love, so pure and primal, only existed in my head, and that what I thought to be the greatest love on earth was nothing more than fueling someone's unrequited self-love. I used to believe that narcissism was all about self-love until I learned that there is another side to it. It's even more terrifying than self-love, it's unrequited self-love. Emily Levine says, "I am an empathic person. And I had a narcissistic relationship. In some ways, he fell in love with me as well. However, this path proved destructive and fatal. Being in a relationship with a narcissist is one of the most dangerous and detrimental things you can do. Consider all forms of abuse, including physical, verbal, mental, emotional, and financial. Consider the terms manipulation and exploitation. Consider the terms gaslighting, humiliation, and disrespect. Consider multiplying that by 1,000. Yes, you're almost there. Empaths frequently become engaged with narcissists, and as unlikely as their relationship may appear, these diametrically opposed personalities are drawn to each other like moths to a flame, their collision tragic and unavoidable for the empath. What is the source of these dynamics? Let's have a look at empathy. Let us now consider a narcissist. And there's an undeniable attraction between them. For the sake of clarity, and based on my own personal experience, I'll refer to the narcissist as he and the empath as she, albeit it can also be the other way around. Who is the empath, exactly? Empaths are persons who are exceptionally sensitive to the emotions of those around them and have the ability to know what others are thinking and feeling. They are sensitive, caring, nurturing, generous, and big-hearted. They have outstanding emotional intelligence and are highly intuitive. They are the ideal friends, the ones who will always be there for you, listen to you, and care about you. However, these characteristics can be taxing for empaths. They are experiencing what others are experiencing. They are experiencing the anguish, anxiety, and rage of their friends and loved ones. They struggle to create appropriate limits for themselves, are terrible at saying no, and are fiercely loyal, always putting others' needs before their own. The finding of mirror neurons is one probable scientific explanation for why empaths are so responsive. When we witness something that another person feels or experiences, a set of neurons in our brains fires up. These mirror neurons aid us in imitation learning. For example, we learn to speak and behave by imitating our parents and siblings while we are young. Mirror neurons gradually decrease in quantity as we become older, as their presence is most important for our survival as we mature. The empaths, on the other hand, maintain their mirror neurons active far into adulthood. Empaths experience great disgust, agony, and fear when witnessing acts of violence, whether in real life or on the internet, thanks to the finding of mirror neurons. Mirror neurons may also explain why empaths carry so much emotional baggage. What exactly is a narcissist? According to the DSM-4 and DSM-5, narcissism is one of the personality disorders classified as Cluster B. It's a mental illness characterized by an exaggerated sense of self-importance, a strong desire for attention and praise, strained relationships, and a complete lack of empathy for others. Behind the confident front hides a weak self-esteem that is easily shattered by the least criticism. Various traumas, childhood abuse, neglect, and even genetic susceptibility can all contribute to the disease. Narcissism, like other mental health conditions, is not black and white, but those who suffer from it can rank its symptoms on a scale. Healthy narcissism is defined as the required level of self-love and selfishness to be able to live life to the fullest without being a people pleaser. A selfish, entitled individual, who is usually just your average garden variety jerk, can be found on the lower end of the scale. On the other end of the spectrum, in the case of narcissistic personality disorder, there is an emotionally and morally damaged individual who is self-centered, terribly indifferent and cruel, and incapable of empathy for others, but who hides behind the facade of a charming and attractive guy. Attraction. Attraction is a term used to describe the attraction between two people. It doesn't seem logical that two such persons would be attracted to each other in the first place. Regardless, it occurs. Why does he find her attractive? From the narcissist's perspective, it's clear to see why the empath appeals to him. The empath is everything he will never be: kind, compassionate, supporting, and steady. The empath is a person who listens, understands, and is emotionally available. For the narcissist, this is paradise. It's like winning the lottery. An empath is full of love, cares about others, wants to help, and wants to give and give and give because it makes her happy. And this is what the narcissist desires: to be loved, cared for, assisted, and to take. He must go to great lengths to fill the vacuum in his heart. But what is it that draws her to him? This has two layers to it. The narcissist appears to be kind, amusing, and attractive. He exudes an overwhelming charm. He exudes a tremendous energy. On every level, he is quite intense. He's demonstrating his own irresistibility, telling everyone how amazing he is, and how beautiful she is at every turn. The empaths are experiencing some type of disruption. The vibes they're receiving aren't clear, and there's something off. It's like when you can't tune into a radio station and hear crackling and white noise in addition to the music. The empath senses a problem here and realizes she must solve it. She detects some excellent music, but she also got the impression that the other is defective and hurt. The narcissist excels at making himself appear vulnerable, lost, and damaged, which is an open invitation to the empath. The attraction stems from a desire to save him. Because the narcissist cannot be helped and, more crucially, does not want aid, it is her fatal flaw. It's a dangerously codependent relationship centered on ostensibly satisfying the demands of only one person who can't be satisfied or happy. The narcissist is like a leaky bucket. No matter how much you pour into it, there will never be enough. The narcissist is incapable of and unwilling to change. He lacks the emotional intelligence, empathy, and compassion required to be a fair, loving, and caring spouse, and he will never learn. He will never be able to learn how to be a genuine person. This is a skill that is acquired during the first few years of life. It is far, far too late by the time the empath meets the narcissist. He is beyond help. It's difficult to escape the narcissist's allure, and much harder to detect them. They're social chameleons. They know just what to say and do to get you to feel the way they desire. What should you do if you're an empath? If you're an empath, you'll need to establish a strong sense of self to protect yourself from others who want to take advantage of you. You must realize that setting boundaries is not only necessary, but also polite, that surrendering yourself will not bring you happiness, and that codependency is not a healthy sort of connection. Because expecting the narcissist to see his difficulties is impractical, it is up to the empath to recognize and remedy the situation. The first thing you must realize is that getting out of the situation is the only way to settle it. That is a difficult reality to accept. It's dreadful to accept and confess that you've squandered months, years, or even decades of your life on someone who doesn't give a damn. This is especially difficult when dealing with a narcissist who denies this. Take no responsibility for the suffering of others. You must continuously remind yourself that you only have one responsibility, your own happiness and existence. You understand their suffering and desire to assist them, but there is only so much you can do. You can assist and advise them, and you can be there for them, but you can only assist someone who is willing to assist themselves. You have no control over their suffering or recovery. You must understand that many people do not want to be fixed because they find it safe and pleasant to remain in pain or agony. Define your boundaries. You must learn to establish clear boundaries. You must determine where you are being of assistance and where it is already sucking the life out of you. In order to practice self-care, you must learn to be selfish in the most positive meaning of the word. If something does not match your schedule, needs, or expectations, you must learn to say no. Saying no isn't disrespectful, it's a method of teaching others about your needs and boundaries, of instructing them how to treat you, and if they misunderstand, it's their fault, not yours. Trust your intuition. The strangest thing about empaths is that they have great gut-feeling talents. They can feel other individuals and situations, but when it comes to aiding others, they are quick to dismiss red flags. The empath is usually aware that something is wrong with the narcissist because she sees and feels it. Her desire to help washes away the discomfort of the hazy image. You should trust your gut a lot more. You should give yourself more credit for your own suspicions and feelings. Consider how many times your intuition has failed you. How many times did you have to persuade yourself to go against your instincts, because you believed it was expected of you to be overly polite and caring? Your gut feelings are there for a purpose. Its purpose is to save you from yourself. Pay attention to it. Practice it, listen to yourself, and believe in yourself, no second guessing, you're much better than that. Keep an eye out for warning signs. You know what to look out for in other people's life. When it comes to giving advice to your pals, there is no one better than you to provide insightful and accurate guidance. Keep in mind that the red flags are the same for everyone. You can't choose not to see them just because they're so close that they're blocking your view of everything else. Take a step back and watch your own life from afar. Use your developed empathy to ask yourself what you would suggest if it were a buddy instead of you. You'd be on the lookout for them. Attempt to keep them safe. Acquire the ability to walk away. Walking away from harmful settings is the most difficult thing. And it has nothing to do with your ego or dignity. It's because you believe you've fallen short. You didn't help them, you didn't save them, and you didn't honor your promises. The second best thing you can do is walk away. The first is to avoid walking in such a circumstance, but this requires a great deal of learning, as well as work on your self-esteem and limits. You must understand that your worth is unrelated to your ability to assist and save others. Your gift is compassion, not a one-sided effort to save someone who refuses to be saved in the first place. Being sensitive to other people's feelings is a gift, and you should value it as something that makes you a wonderful, generous person. Trust your instincts. Allow yourself to be guided by your feelings and intuition. Recognize and understand the red signs. If you find yourself in a toxic relationship, simply get up and leave. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If there is anything that needs to be discussed, write in the comments column below.